is philanthropy, but he does a lot more than write checks. He's a hands-on person who's been deeply involved with his family's various nonprofit organizations. Today, he heads the Shriver Group here in Sarasota. He's the founder of Inclusion Revolution, an advisor to the Shriver Education for the Arts organization, co-founder of Rise at Nyes, a local coffee and ice cream shop. I could go on. Suffice it to say, Beaver Shriver is a brilliant visionary and leader, and I'm honored to have him here with me today. Welcome to Suncoast, people.
Thank you so much for having me, and that's quite an intro. I'm humbled and shrinking in my seat.
Well, it's. I could have gone on, but
Goodness.
you know, we already run out of time.
All right.
So the obvious question I got to ask you, is Beaver a nickname or is it your given name?
Well, I get asked that every day, which is fine. People.
Well, once and for all.
Once and for all. So my real name is Beverly.
Okay.
It's Beverly Randolph Shriver III, which is a mouthful, and it made for a difficult first day of school.
I'll bet.
Every year.
I'll bet.
So Beverly Shriver was on the roster. I got to raise my hand. Everybody would laugh, and then I would say, "Well, you can call me Beaver," and everybody would get to laugh again. So anyway, so Beaver is the nickname, and that was from the start.
And we're going to stick with Beaver.
Works for me.
I'm reading this because I really wanted to get this right. The Shriver family is well known for its philanthropy and support of people who are differently abled, neurodivergent. There are a number of different names assigned to people who have had these challenges. Mm-hmm. And it goes way back to a relative of yours, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, and she was the founder of Special Olympics, and I understand that you have a connection with Special Olympics as far as sort of getting your feet wet.
Well, feet wet, that was a good way to put it. One of my early memories with Special Olympics was timing swim meets. Way back when, I can't remember how old I was, but that was a big impact on me to see these people hop in the pool and swim with all their various issues, and just to see them plow on and do the backstroke and do the side stroke and freestyle, whatever, and make it back and forth in the pool. It was just really inspiring to me at a young age, and it was a big impact on me for what I'm doing today.
Was that at a point when you decided that becoming involved with differently abled people is, did you think it was a calling, or is it, well, I'm going to try this out and see how it goes?
Probably a calling, and probably, well, my mom was a big influence on me, always volunteering for this and starting this program and that program. And so again, just the family influence. This is just what you do, and meeting all these people with disabilities. It was just amazing to see them being lifted up and giving opportunities, especially at that time in my life, and that time in the history of the world, when these people were often just discarded and forgotten. To see them be able to shine and have a place to shine was just inspiring to me.
And you grew up in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And so your mom must have been involved with a lot of both national and local organizations in the Pittsburgh area. Is that a fair assumption? Or tell me more about your mom.
A lot of it was local that she did. She was a stay-at-home mom, raising me, my brother and sister, and doing all that stuff, but doing lots of volunteering at everything from the local rehabilitation center, where people who were in accidents and lost limbs or whatever it would be were being rehabilitated. Physical therapy and occupational therapy things would go on. She was always there. She was a music therapist, and I was always getting dragged along to these things. So at an early age, I was introduced and just being made by association comfortable with people who had a disability, who had a brain injury, who had a stroke, whatever it was. It just introduced me to this and made me comfortable with that population or these populations early on.
Well, you bring up an interesting point, the idea of being around differently abled people and being comfortable around them. Do you think that there are a lot of folks out there who are not comfortable being around people who are different from them?
So I don't know if being comfortable is the right way to put it, just being unfamiliar maybe.
Okay.
When you look at people with Down syndrome, people with autism, whatever the condition may be, they're often on the special bus. They're put in the special classroom.
They're segregated.
They're segregated, right. And when I was a kid, again, that same population would often be sent off to the state institution. Parents would be told, well, you can't take care of this child. This child's never going to succeed, amount to anything, maybe not speak, whatever it would be. So off the kid would go to the state institution and just be forgotten. Girls would be sterilized. Everybody just, see you later. So I think it's more the fear of difference, the fear of the unknowing. So many people who come in our shop, which I guess we'll talk about in a little bit.
Absolutely.
Many people maybe never spoken with somebody with Down syndrome or had an interaction with somebody with autism that they knew about. So again, I think it's that fear of difference. Like, should I look at this person when I pass them on the sidewalk? Should I say hello? And often the reaction is, well, I'm just going to look straight ahead. And there goes somebody in a wheelchair. There goes, again, somebody with Down syndrome. And you don't know what to do, so you just, I'm scared. I'm not sure what to do.
Yeah, yeah.
But by being introduced to these guys at an early age, whether it's through inclusive schools or whether it's through someone like my mom who said, here we go, this is what we're going to go do, then it's just a normal thing. Then your friend has Down syndrome and your friend on this side has epilepsy, and it's not a big deal. They're just your friends. You know them, you understand that they're just people like you and me, and it's all good.
Absolutely. Well, it's exposing yourself to learn and expand your knowledge and understanding of other people, and that seems to be a rarer and rarer commodity these days, and that type of understanding. We'll definitely get to Rise and Nyes, and we will definitely get to some of your other endeavors. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about, how you, for instance, when did you come to Sarasota?
About 10 years ago.
And what brought you here?
The blue sky, the warm weather. I just got tired of my snow scraper and thought it was time to move south.
Pittsburgh is a great city.
It is.
But it's
a great
gray.
town. Yep. If we went up there right now, it would be gray and 42 and maybe raining.
Sounds like Seattle, where I
yeah.
lived for 10 years.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yep. Get chilled to the bone.
Boy, I don't miss that.
Yeah, Pittsburgh again is a great town, an amazing place to grow up. I really enjoyed it. It's just it's a beautiful city aside from the weather.
Did your mother stay in Pittsburgh, or did she come down here?
So she is still in Pittsburgh.
She is still in Pittsburgh.
She's 91.
Yep.
She's in assisted living now, and
I want to ask you a little bit more about why Sarasota, because obviously there's sunshine here. Obviously we've got amazing beaches and all of that. But you could have moved to Miami. Why Sarasota?
well, I guess a couple of reasons. The East Coast to me is a little too busy. I'm going to meet you for dinner, and the restaurant's 2 miles away. Oh, great, I'll see you there in a little bit. And then an hour and a half later, I'm finally pulling in.
I call it New Jersey with palm trees.
There we go.
And to all of our New Jersey friends, I'd no disrespect.
The other reason, I guess, Sarasota, I came and checked it out, and I just had a really good feel about it.
Yeah.
A feel about sort of small town and people helping each other and caring about each other, and it's really shown, it's really proven that point to me by being in here and working in the nonprofit world and starting the nonprofit, just to see how things are so well supported. Everything from the cats to the opera to us gets lifted up and supported, and it's just it's a great town for people trying to do good work.
It is, and certainly some of the outlying communities as well. Bradenton is really is really working on a revitalization effort, and to the south, Venice and Osprey there, but this whole region, and with Sarasota as sort of the center of it, it is a very special place. What did you study in college?
So I made up my own major. I called it American Studies, so it was American Literature and American History. And I followed a pre-med program as well, and played ice hockey and did all kinds of volunteer stuff and stayed busy.
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Dartmouth.
Dartmouth, good school. I live just south of there in New Hampshire. So
Very good.
spent a lot
Beautiful
of time
spot,
there.
although I froze my roots. That's what happened to my hairdo.
I was
Gets
not
bloody
gonna go
cold
there.
up there. So
It does get cold, and I tell you, the snow, New England snow, those nor'easters that come in and pull in all that. I'm feeling like a meteorologist now with the front that's coming in from the water. But you're right, and the snow, and it just
yeah,
doesn't go away.
wicked cold, as they say.
Yeah, that's for sure. Got to put the car back in the barn
There you go.
with the chickens.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Anyways, and did you know in college that you were going, because you mentioned you're volunteering in college, you knew that you were going to pursue a career in helping others? Was that always on the radar even when you were in college?
Yeah, that was always part of growing up, part of what
Sure.
I did in college and afterward. That's just an important part. Again, the family history, that's just what you do. And, right, so it's just been a huge part of me and volunteering for whatever. I lived in a little town called Hot Springs, Virginia for a while. And I I was a volunteer firefighter, volunteer paramedic, volunteer dive team member, sat on the airport board, the board for the for the cemetery. Just goes on and on and on. It's a small town, not much else to do.
Yeah.
But again, it was that I need to
You were knee
help
deep
people and give and just got to be there.
But you've also got a background in marketing. Tell me about that.
Sure. So I consulted and worked with a company that set up fly fishing trips around the world, which was great fun. So I got to pop around here and there and check out some of the best fly fishing spots on the planet, and come back home and write about it and share my pictures and help convince people to go on the trips.
And your wife is involved with marketing and a number of different things as well, isn't she?
She is. So she's an artist. She does amazing work, from textile art to beautiful paintings and all kinds of crazy things. Artists often go from one thing to the next and morph into this and that. She's also doing hairdos.
Does she style your?
She doesn't get to practice on me much, but maybe a little color now and then. But right, and she started another nonprofit, and the feature program for that one is called Big Magic Studios. And the idea behind that is to offer people with disabilities an opportunity to do art and to do whatever art they want to do. So we collect. It's been on pause since COVID. We need to get it going again. But we have clients from Easter Seals and clients from the Haven come down to an art studio, and we let them just cut loose on whatever artwork they want to do, and then we lift that art and create products from it. Silk scarves, we use the artwork for our coffee bags in our coffee and ice cream shop, and they get paid for that. So it's not many artists get paid, and
No, that's wonderful.
to lift those
And
guys up.
their work is being seen, and they're developing skills.
Yep, and having fun.
Speaking of having fun, we're going to have some more in a moment. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back in under a minute, about 30 seconds, to continue. And we're going to talk ice cream and coffee when we come back. Thank you for watching and supporting Suncoast People. And if you like what we're doing, please make sure to follow and subscribe. If you're feeling generous, consider supporting Suncoast People through patreon.com/Suncoast People. And we're back with Beaver Shriver, an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and just a heck of a nice guy. Every time I mentioned that you were going to be on this show, people who know you or know of you say, what a great guy.
Goodness.
You don't let that go to your head, do you?
No, it's just being me and carrying on.
I think that's wonderful. We teased in the tease. We talked about coffee and ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Rise and Nyes. Where did that idea come from?
Well, growing up, I had a good friend, and still have a good friend, named Barry. Barry has autism, and he, unlike many of his friends or all of his other friends, he got a job. When he timed out of school at age 18 in Pennsylvania, at that time, that's when that would happen. He got first an internship at the VA hospital right in his backyard. And that turned into a job, which was amazing for him. Barry and I did everything together. We go to the movies, go out to dinner together and everything, and I was proud to be with him. People would always stare, and because he's got his autistic quirks, which is great, that's Barry. But he worked at the VA hospital, again outside Pittsburgh, for 42 years. He just retired at the end of last year. And I was just so proud of him, first for getting a job, and second for being there and being the best worker they ever had. All the other guys were saying, Barry, slow down, you're making us look bad. He was a rock star there. The sad thing is, though, he graduated, he went to a special needs school called Middle Road School up outside Pittsburgh. And he got the job, but none of his other friends got a job. So 30 people in the graduating class, one got a job. So imagine going to the Riverview High School graduating class and say, 1 out of 30 you guys is going to have something to do here once you graduate. Just crazy, crazy. And it's still a problem. 80% of this population never gets a job.
Although they're capable of holding a job.
Absolutely capable. If you came to our coffee and ice cream shop, they're running the show. Everybody that's in there working has a diagnosed disability. And I get to hang outside and tell people what we're doing and hand out stickers and have a good time. And those guys are running the shop. And it just makes me proud every day to go in there and see that going on. But it also makes me sad to know that all their friends that don't work at Rise and Nyes can't take a resume like you and me and go apply where there's a job that's being offered across the street. It just doesn't happen. And again, I think it comes back to that fear of difference. People see someone with a disability and they're hesitant to give them a chance. They think, gosh, they got to have 2 people keep an eye on Jimmy so that he can get the job done. We got to help him the whole time. That's not necessarily true. Certainly some of our staff needs help as we go along, and we've got support in place for that. But again, many of them can run the shop on their own. So many businesses now are complaining, I can't find anybody to work. Or the guy showed up yesterday and he didn't come back today.
Right.
And we can't find anybody. Well, I have 300 people on the wait list, dying to have a job.
300 people on the wait list.
Yep. They'd all love to have a job. They'd all show up early. They can do the work, and but they just don't get the chance.
Why is it that these people are not given a chance?
Again, I think it goes back to that fear of difference. That person has Down syndrome, well, they certainly can't come in here and help us clean cars at my car dealership. They certainly can't work this register. Well, they certainly can. If you came in a Rise and Nyes, you'd see them doing the whole show. And my hope is, with our shop, is that people do come in, business owners come in, and they see these guys running the shop and think, my gosh, why couldn't I use someone like Kelly? Why couldn't I use someone like Joey? Why couldn't I use someone like Ava in my shop? Because they're doing a great job. Here they are, and they're ready to go. It's just frustrating to me and frustrating to all these people that they just don't get the opportunity. But again, I'm hoping through my shop, it begins to happen.
We all need a purpose, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a huge part of it. You need something to do. Otherwise, these guys are, again, 80% of them are sitting at home. What are they doing? Playing video games, sitting around.
Watching TV.
Watching TV.
Watching this show. I mean, that in and of itself will just, drive you to take a nap.
Well,
I hope you're not taking a nap.
well, again, I hope that the things will begin to change. And I see it. I've got many people who come into the shop and say, well, how do you hire someone like Kelly with Down syndrome? And how do you do it? And I tell them, we just hire them. You show them how to do what you would like them to do. Here's how you work our register. It's different than the one maybe at Rise and Nyes, and here's how you run it. Kelly, our morning barista, she runs a $25,000 espresso machine. If I sent you in there and showed you that thing and said, make me a latte with oat milk and a squirt of caramel, maybe you know how to do it.
I can't even operate my Keurig in the morning, so come on.
All right.
All right.
Well, we could bring you in and we could show you how to do it. Kelly would show you how to do it, and eventually you'd get it, just like Kelly got it.
Oh, we might have to make a field trip there sometime and take a camera with us.
Come on by.
We would love that. What's your proudest achievement?
Well, Rise and Nyes. Rise and Nyes, the coffee and ice cream shop. We have 35 people that work with us. Most have never had a job and now have a place to show their amazing abilities.
Has anyone approached you from elsewhere in this country or elsewhere in Florida to try and duplicate this model?
Many people. Yep, at least one a week, I'd say. And often it's a family or a family member who has somebody in the family with a disability, and they want to know, well, how do I do this? I want to do it, so there's something for my child to do when he or she times out of school, hits a certain age.
Have you seen any of these come to fruition?
Yeah, a number have. There's a group in Tampa that's I've consulted with for a good while, and consulting meaning they call me on the phone, how do we do this? What do we do next? And just talk them through it, which I'm happy to do. I want to see this happen absolutely everywhere. And our hope is through our shop that we're able to create the model, and we're working on having a tight model so we can pick it up and do it elsewhere. The tricky part for us is we're supported by a nonprofit.
You've climbed a couple of mountains in your life. What's the next mountain you're going to climb, do you think?
That's a tough one. I might have to wait and see what the mountain is. I'm kind of right in the middle of this one.
That's fair enough, because it's hard if you're in the midst of climbing a mountain, it's hard to see the next one.
All right, I got to hit the summit.
So you've had a number of employees come in and through the shop. Are there any stories of any individuals that really stick out?
Boy, there are a bunch. As I stand in the shop and look around, my heart gets warmed every day when I see these guys and where they were 2 years ago to where they are today. People who have speech impediments, who are now more comfortable and feeling confident to be able to use the voice that they have. It might not be a perfectly smooth, clean voice, but they're using the voice. People, again, who never imagined they would have a job, have a place to go and show their abilities. One quick story I'll tell. We have a girl who works with us named Julia. The first time I met her during our interview, about 35 seconds into our chat, she looked at me and she said, "Oh, you look just like Voldemort." I said, "Well, thank you, Julia." I had the mask on, I've got the hairdo, I look just like Voldemort. I said, "That's great." Thank you so much. She's amazing. She's super smart, very witty, just has some issues. Anything that's in her brain comes out of her mouth.
I can understand that. So we all have that from time to time.
Sure, and it's a pretty good way to operate.
Yeah.
So early on, a group was coming in. It was two guys that owned this company, and they said, "We want to support you. We want to support you more." And I said, "Well, just keep coming in, buying coffee and ice cream, and meet the gang. That's what I really want to have happen, is that interaction, meet the people and hang out with them and get to know these our amazing team members at Rise and Nyes more." And they said, "Well, we'll do that, and we'll do a little more." So a week or so later, they showed up with 15 of their team members, their co-workers, and a big giant golf check for $10,000, which was amazing, supporting our nonprofit to keep the show going. And I said, "This is great, guys." So we lined up. We've got a beautiful wall with these bleeding hearts and our big mission statement on it, sort of the selfie wall that everybody uses for Rise and Nyes. So we lined up 15 of their team members, and I was right up front with Julia. And the lady taking the picture said, "Julia, what do you like about working at Rise and Nyes?" And I was standing beside her thinking, oh boy, you don't know what you're going to get. But she said, well, I finally have friends.
Oh, that's
And
sweet.
the place just fell apart. You know, I thought I had it all figured out. Julia's going to get a paycheck, and she's going to have a uniform and a business card, and people are going to get to meet her and realize she's amazing. She's an amazing artist. And then it didn't occur to me that Julia now has a safe place where she can be Julia and not worry about people picking on her and locking in her locker like probably happened in middle school.
Sure.
And being called every name in the book. Now she's got a safe place to be, to show her amazing abilities. Every Saturday now, she's parked out there. Saturday's our busiest day, farmer's market going on and piles of people coming in. Her amazing ability is she's again, witty and smart and so much fun, but she's an amazing artist. So now we have her set up with an easel, and she paints these beautiful paintings, and people get to come and interact with her and see her painting, and she sells them right on the spot. It's so much fun.
That is amazing. Beaver Shriver, thank you so much for coming to Suncoast People, sharing some beautiful stories. We got to know what your birth name is. May it never be said out loud.
That's fine.
I'm teasing, but it really is an honor and a treat to meet you. And Rise and Nyes is located, what's the address?
Downtown Sarasota, 1534 State Street.
1534 State Street.
Right
And you're right next door to Brick Barbecue?
Brick's Barbecue.
Brick's Barbecue, which is, I'm not going to give them a plug or anything, but we'll say it's pretty good stuff.
It's really good stuff.
And that ice cream makes a wonderful dessert.
Well, thank you. We make it fresh every day. Everything's made fresh every day. The co-founder, Christian Nye, is an executive chef. All fresh ingredients. The strawberry ice cream has roasted strawberries in it.
Oh.
The mint has 2 pounds of mint leaves that goes in to make the base. Muffins, cookies, everything made fresh right in our own kitchen right there every day.
Wow.
Beignets, New Orleans style beignets. Got to put a plug in for those.
Would love to have you come back.
I'd love to.
Maybe
anytime.
bring some ice cream.
Absolutely, and some of the team members.
Would love to do that, enjoy that as well. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting Suncoast People. I'm Robert Tim. Thanks for watching.